because I do 1,300 crunches and sit-ups 4 times a week.
What's a dose? Can you translate for us?
Winner of the gold medal and the champion golfer of the year is Ernie Els.
Welcome back to the GOAT Track, everybody. The podcast about golf and golf-adjacent stuff, mostly from Africa. Sitting here in the GOAT shed once again with my guy JDV and Hoff. Hello, Hoff.
Hello, TBag.
We're firing this morning. There's no messing around.
Yeah.
Guys, I've got meetings to go to.
Right, and
JDV, nice to hear from you, Hoff. JDV, how are you?
Yeah, good. Trying to connect to internet here, pull up golf champs. It's all happening.
Hoff, you were telling us about the chap who won on the DP World Tour. What were you about to say about him?
No, I was just going to say he looks very much like a surfer rather than a golfer. Young French oak. Don't know how many French guys surf. I actually think quite a few French guys surf. But yeah, have a squiz if you haven't had a squiz already online. He's got some. We're looking at a picture now that's obviously outdated because I think that hair is about.
He looks like about 15.
T-Bag, that hair is way out there. He's got a proper curly, like almost peroxided little afro going there.
I believe he's a rookie, so that's pretty close here on tour.
He looked proper. I mean, I didn't watch too much of it. There weren't enough sort of big-ish names to keep me properly engrossed. But yeah, it was, for what I watched, probably about half an hour to an hour. It's a lacquer tournament. Nice golf course, very nice area. Like I think it's Antalya
on the Turkish coastline.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it looks properly beautiful. So, and I think it's the first time they've been back there since 2019-ish.
That's an underrated place to go on golf tour, is Turkey. Like, genuinely especially for South Africans, I think it's a pretty easy visa application.
Watch this. Didn't you say you guys were going, or someone's going?
So we wanted to do Turkey. So, I mean, the idea was, trying to find what the simplest, most cost-effective. So Portugal's, I think, a good one.
Yeah. It's not hard to put like a package together there along one of those coastlines.
I looked at Mauritius, which is obviously very accessible. You don't need a visa, but God, it's expensive. Have you seen how much it is to play those golf courses? It's like 5,000 rand a round.
Yeah. Well, it's targeted at wealthy Europeans. I think they're trying to lure middle-aged South Africans there.
But you can get those packages where you can play like the hotel that you stay at's got like 2 courses, but I mean the idea of a golf tour is that you don't want to just play the 2 courses.
I've heard Portugal's properly cool for a golf tour and not too out of the budget in terms of European countries, as opposed to something like France or Spain or something.
Yeah, which is
you're getting
silly,
smacked with the
silly money. Yeah, apparently there's a coastline in Portugal there where there's like 13 golf courses like back to back. It's just like pick your.
One mate who did a Portugal golf tour for I think it was his 18th or his 16th birthday. And
Hilton College.
I was going to say fishing in different waters to Maritzburg College. Yeah, where did you go on golf tour? The Bluff.
After he finished cleaning the toilet. But yeah, I mean, his report back was epic, and I was like, Portugal. Like, surely if you're going to choose somewhere, you're going to choose like Scotland, Ireland, Northern Ireland. But yeah, it looked incredible.
I think it's like, what do you want out of a golf tour? Like, yeah, Scotland, Ireland. If you're like a bit of a architect nerd like me or whatever, you want to go tick off a few places and you don't mind going out there in your rain gear and getting like beaten by the elements. But like, if your idea of a golf tour is just cruising around in golf carts and like just nice weather, nice golf courses, like I'm pretty sure you're not going to go wrong in like Turkey or Portugal.
Yeah, that sounds like my kind of golf tour.
You guys, JDV, you were telling me how much you enjoyed playing at Kloof on Saturday.
Yeah, look, I mean, it is nice to play Kloof again. I don't want to pile on them too hard. We were talking about just the fees. I think of green fees have gone up at Kloof a bit. I'm not too sure what the comp fee and the jackpot fee and the hole-in-one fee was that we paid. But yeah, Hoff, I think you said with the cart it came to about
half a cart.
Or half a cart. It came to about $850, $900.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, for reference, that's pretty much what a round of Cotswold is going to cost you, with half a cart and probably your comp fees. So yeah, pretty pricey. But yeah, I thought the greens were pretty good, Hoffman. I don't know what you thought.
Well, I mean, I think your first little part of your intro to KCC there, JDV, was I'm not going to pile on them too much. I'm quite happy to pile on them, to be honest. I was like super unimpressed. I mean, I played Kloof for a long, long time. I was a junior there. Was treated pretty badly as a junior, to be honest. So already got, those sort of feelings harboured in the back there, in the back of the mind. But I was excited to play Kloof again. I mean, it's been like a year since I've played. And yeah, green fees, it's just ridiculous for that kind of course. I mean, we've always said Kloof think that they are better than what they are. And I think the bill that you pay when you play there shows that, like, super shit cart, like the worst lies you've ever seen in your life, like middle of the fairway, not a flippin' blade of grass, in patches, weeds everywhere, shittest bunkers you can find outside of like Windsor Park.
This is what happens when guys come down from the Cotswold Castle.
Exactly. I mean, this is what
play with the commoners.
Oaks are going on.
But here's the thing, T-Bag. So Tucky said the same thing. He's like, oh, all of us posh golfers. But the thing is, like, if we go and play like Umkomas or something like that, the price compares to the experience, what you get on the course. And that's the whole problem with Kloof that I have with Kloof, is that the price is on par with Cotswold. So obviously you've got to compare it to Cotswold. And that's where they go horribly wrong. Like, is it fun? Yes, it was fun. Notwithstanding losing a ball like a meter off the fairway in like a pile of weeds, Like the greens, to JDB's point, like the greens were fine. They were actually quite nice. But yeah, everything else, it's just like if we were paying $500, I would have had a great experience. But that payment up front for what you then get after that it's terrible. So, like, fun day out, didn't play that well, but fun day out. JDV looked a lot worse than we did through his red wine goggles and also walking.
Pinotage eyes, I think.
Pinotage eyes,
Tucky described it as.
Celebrating my fake hole-in-one at the Cotswold Par 3 contest.
So guys, so let's get that out the way. Tell us about that.
So
shortened course.
Yeah, it's shortened course. So it was the 7th. They'd shortened it to about 85 meters. Blind flag.
Probably like 60.
Yeah, blind. Maybe
that hole's
60.
probably got longer by 5 meters.
Maybe 60. But yeah, a little 54 degree. I couldn't see it, so I went down to the green. Sean said it's in the bunker, so I grabbed my sand wedge and my putter and made my way down, and there it was in the hole. So a little fake by Sean there, but
no Amdoni caddies hanging around.
No,
there.
so I didn't see anyone scampering off into the bush. So I assume it was a legit fake hole-in-one. And then Sean made me take all the photos, which was even more embarrassing because I'm like, this doesn't really feel. This feels a bit scummy. Feels a bit slimy. But yeah, then try to get all the kids back. So I said, no, rather come over to my place. We'll have a glass of wine there. And then I just had way more than a glass of wine, and felt the effects of it at Kloof.
A glass cabinet of wine.
Classic JDV luring everyone in. Just come back to my place for a glass of wine.
My home. I've got a friend who's got 2 hole-in-ones on a par 3 course, and he is like convinced that they're proper hole-in-ones, like they count. And it's got to the point now where I just ignore him when he talks about it. When he got his second one, he sent me like a photo and a message, and I was like, oh, Mikey, you're almost ready for the big course now.
We had that discussion. Did we say that if you get a hole-in-one at Simbiti that it counts?
No, I'm not counting it.
Tia, you would.
Simbiti is an 18-hole golf course. I mean, what's the problem?
I mean, you got a lot more chance.
I know how things are mashy. But
yeah, your chances of making a hole-in-one at Simbiti.
Yeah, but it's not like mashy yard distances at Simbiti. I mean, there's maybe one hole that's 100 meters. And then everything else is normal. Some very long par 3s there as well.
17th, like 70 meters.
Well, I mean, that's the distance that I made my hole-in-one, so it's just become a bit more legit.
Well, to T, not to me.
No, well, thanks for asking, guys, about my round at Escort Golf Club. I can tell you about it.
Probably better than Kloof.
It was 100% better than Kloof. No, just completely impromptu, driving up to Harry Smith, and I found myself thinking, sure, I'm a bit early. What am I going to do for 2 hours extra in Harry Smith? It was either going to be arrive and like go onto my laptop, I suppose, or I saw the escort sign and I thought, you know what, let me do Swanee a good one here. Pulled off, and it was quite an experience, JDV. I really enjoyed your little, it all came to life. Your little Google Street View drive-through that we did on the podcast, 100 spot on.
Industrial area, golf course.
Safe. I was like, I'm in the right area because it's getting shitter and shitter. And as I said, when you got to the clubhouse, it wasn't actually clear that was the golf course, because the clubhouse itself looks also like an industrial era building, but like not like the nice industrial. Like
You play one man.
1 man, 9 holes, Hoff.
Like that.
Took me an hour. Got around there in an hour. Pace of play was great. There was literally one other group who were finishing on the 9th when I teed off on the 1st. Yeah, and just zoomed around. And I don't know if I got lucky with the time of year or whatever, but I think those little inland courses are probably at about the perfect time to play them, because they're still green enough that they look like a golf course.
But getting harder and harder.
But they're not sludgy or whatever. And I said to JDV and Swanee, I mean, the greens were absolutely perfect, like rolling beautifully, like billiard tables, and interesting layouts as well. Have you ever played there?
No.
Like it's quite up and down. Like there's quite a few elevation changes. So you play up and down this hill, and then you also play kind of across the side of it. And there's a mixture of, I would say, some parts which have got trees, a bit like Newtsburg, like sort of parkland vibes. And then on the outer edges, the holes that you play, it's actually like bushveld. So there's like proper acacia trees and that you're kind of in amongst all of that.
Sounds epic.
And then obviously the escort surrounds are not like flat and boring either. I mean, there's like a little, so you've got views in the distance. So JDV, controversial, but I'm gonna bump it up my list to number 2, my second favorite 9-hole course in KZN. Yeah, I know Ryan. I know Ryan's not going to love that. I'm gonna have to bump Newtsburg down just because recency bias. I was at Newtsburg recently.
Your number 1 is Boschuk.
So my number 2 are of like goat tracks. I don't regard Boschuk as a goat track, and I know we've got Hoff here who might disagree, but no, I think my number 1 is still Cathedral Peak.
Okay.
I think just because of its situation and the layouts. I think if I had to play Cathedral Peak at this time of year, I think it's probably peaking. We always seem to play it when it's grassy and slushy and whatever, but I'd love to go there now and play Cathedral Peak. So yeah, Escort was great. Guys, it is the PGA Championship this week. I mean, I actually can't believe it, like that we add another major.
Snuck up on us. I'm glad that they put this one in the calendar where it is, because I always found when it was at the end, it like felt like a bit of a letdown. You like have had all of the epic majors out the way, and then you've got the PGA Champs. You're like, oh, this is like a bit of a nothing one. As far as the majors go.
Yeah.
But like having it second, you're like, okay, this is like a little
hors
d'oeuvre before you get
we
like
still got
the US Open.
So we start off with the bang with the Masters, and then
It also means that when the announcer says the champion golfer of the year, you know that he is indeed the champion golfer of the year.
for the rest of the year.
Yeah, there's nothing coming after that. So.
The PGA afterwards is always just like,
But also,
you were kind of over golf by then a little bit.
And I don't watch a lot of PGA Tour golf, and it always just felt like a proper PGA Tour event. And you got like a lot of that playing through stuff off the commentator that you love, and a shitload of adverts and just like stills, because you knew that when you get that feed, the Americans are watching adverts. And I just remember from a broadcast perspective, trying to watch the PGA as a major is like pulling your nails out.
But it has got so much better.
Yeah.
It's got so much more watchable. The coverage is a lot better. I'd say the coverage is 10 times better than a normal PGA event. It's still not fantastic, but it's definitely watchable. But yeah, I agree with you, JDB. I think this is a good slot for it. It's definitely 4 out of 4 in terms of major standing. I think that's pretty easy. It's competing with the US Open, but I think it's slightly below that, to be honest. But it's a good time to keep us busy. We've had the Masters, we've had the Players Championship, and now we can ramp it up again. And it's always a good field, of course.
I think probably the most interesting thing about going to this PGA is just like the cream of the crop and the form that players are coming into it. So I mean, just a brief summary. Since Rory won the Masters, we had Justin Thomas winning at the RBC Heritage. Obviously, that was the same weekend that our very own Garrick Higo won the alternate events. Then we had, just skipping forward, we had Scotty Scheffler absolutely boat racing the field at the Byron Nelson. Where I think
Eric van Rooyen coming second.
He won by 8 shots, and Eric van Rooyen finishing second. So it's been a good month for South African golfers. And then last weekend we had we had Sepp Straka winning with also like a quality field at the top end. We had Shane Lowry up there, we had Rory up there. JT probably should have won that tournament. And then on Live, we've had Neiman and Bryson both winning, basically in this gap since the Masters. So if you're looking for storylines coming into the PGA Champs, it's also a course where there's a lot of course history with players. Quail Hollow is a regular stop on the PGA Tour and basically otherwise known as like Rory's playground. But Justin Thomas has got a great record there. He won the last time they had the PGA Champs at Quail Hollow. And it's probably the most sort of PGA Tour-like of all the setups, sort of typical pro golf setup. Apparently they're going to dial it up and, whatever the fuck that means. But they're going to try and make it harder and firmer and all of that stuff. But it's probably a place that is going to feel the most like a normal PGA Tour event compared to the rest of the majors, which are like Oakmont and Royal Portrush, which I think are going to be like really different and really hard. Guys, that was a brief roundup. Hoff, you mentioned Garrick Higo and Eric van Rooyen. So I had wanted to pose a question to you guys. Short chat. Who do you think is the best current South African golfer?
Dean Burmester.
Okay.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. Boring answer. I think he's shown his form in Live. He's definitely the most consistent stinger. I know there's not much to go on there at the moment with Brandon Grace sort of, relegated last season and looking like he's probably going to be relegated again this season, although he won't because, it's Live.
Business decisions for stingers.
Louis and Charles sort of just ambling along. So, I think he's genuinely been good, Dean Burmester. I would love to go out on a limb and say someone like Eric van Rooyen. He did okay at the Truist this last weekend. He didn't shoot the lights out. Higo was, I think, second last or last.
Yeah, right.
Christian Bezuidenhout came back quite nicely at the end, but I think it's still Dean Burmester, to be honest.
Yeah, it's a tough one because of the fact that he's been playing on Live. I suppose that's where I had the question mark in my head. Was like, he did qualify for the Tour and then obviously left for Live, and I think he would have done really well on the PGA Tour. But the origin of my question came from pinning up Eric van Rooyen versus Bez. Because my feeling is Bez has like a higher floor than Eric van Rooyen, but van Rooyen, I think, has got a higher ceiling. Like, if it feels like when Van Rooyen is on, like I would say Van Rooyen has a better chance of winning a major than Bez. Bez is a top 30 like absolute master.
But especially at a course like Quail Hollow, you can imagine Bez competing more at the British Open, where it's a bit of a lot more putting, a lot more around the green. But Eric van Rooyen fits that PGA Tour player mold, I think, a bit.
Maybe he'd
better.
do well at the par 3 challenge at Cotswold.
Couple of hole in ones.
or that putt champs on the Himalayas course in St Andrews. Anyway, no, I would say I'm kind of in agreement with you guys. That's obviously why I've got Dean Burmester in my team, as you guys well know. I've literally a one horse. I've picked him. He's only got one course to run this year, and that's this weekend because he's amazingly not qualified for the US Open or the British Open yet. I don't know whether he's going to actually try and qualify, but I'm hoping for big things from Dean this weekend. Quail Hollow, I think we've touched on it, guys. It's a bit of a bomber's paradise. You listen to the guys in the States, and a lot of the sort of podcasting guys, they talk about it not being their favorite golf course and this and that. Look, I think realistically, if this golf course was in South Africa, it would probably be like the number one golf course in SA. Like, I think it's an unbelievable course. It's got a lot of mix of like risk and reward holes. There's water. I think I'd actually be interested to hear from like a player, like a South African player, what they would comp it to. But I would guess maybe something like Montague Links or something. Montague in Fan Courts, just a mix of sort of parkland with quite a bit of water. But listen, it's gonna suit. I think the cream's gonna rise. Like, it's that sort of golf course, and they're gonna dial it up as well a little bit. You know, I think the rough's gonna be a little bit longer. Apparently, they've tried to, in the words of one of the Quail Hollow members, they've tried to Rory proof. They're talking about Rory proofing these days. They've tried to Rory proof it, so they've lengthened 1 or 2 holes.
But doesn't that just, they did that, they tried to Tiger proof Augusta, and all it did was made it,
It actually makes
lent it towards
Tiger.
So if they're making it longer, then it's probably just going to help Rory.
That's kind of what they're saying. There's a couple of bunkers there that apparently only 3 or 4 guys in the field are going to clear on fairways. Guys, we sort of moving into like the golf champ space. You know, sometimes we'll all give out our picks. We'll do our different categories or whatever. I think what we're going to find is that everyone's going to want to try and pick. To me, this tournament's going to be won in like the top 15 in the world. So that doesn't really help you though when you're trying to compile a golf champs team, JDV, as you know. You can't just have thoroughbreds, you know. You need a couple of ponies.
Well, you got to go. I mean, so what you're saying is essentially this is one where you're not trying to pick, the 4 players from like the 25 to the 50. You're going
three guns.
Like exactly. You're going basically 3 from the top 15 and then like 1 absolute Hail Mary.
Yeah. So my challenge to you guys was give me a couple of Hail Mary options. And I know you guys both of you, your notepads were absolutely brimming with information. But if you would like, I'm happy to start. So I've got 3 players here.
I've got one. Maybe I must take him off the board before you steal
Okay, let's play a bit of tennis. So you go.
So my first one was looking at data golf and looking at where he is here is Mr. Rasmus Nygaard Peterson. He's all the way down in 74 for the golf champs picks, which is what I think you're looking for if you're then trying to pick 3 top players.
Who?
Rasmus Nygaard Peterson. Do you not know Rasmus Nygaard Peterson?
No, I do.
Well, look, I mean, I think from a length perspective, he's got it. He's an up and comer, so it could be his tournament to his coming out tournament. But yeah,
is he a Dane? Is he Danish?
Yeah, I think so. Tell you now. Got an answer for you. So he's so well known that Golf Champs, or unless it's my internet, hasn't actually given him a.
Is he definitely playing? We'd hate to give out guys who aren't playing.
Oh.
His picture on Golf Champs is just a silhouette.
Okay.
That's how.
So it's touch and go. Okay, JDV, give us your reasons.
So when I had him in, and sorry, now I've lost my internet, so very, very well prepared here. Okay,
but, I mean, you've obviously
he is a Dane.
Put this in your memory bank.
So he's got a lot of driving accuracy, and he's above average in driving distance and approach, and then he's average in putting and around the green. So I mean, if you look at his little pentagon, I would say he looks like if you look at Dean Burmester, his pentagon is all the way up in driving distance, but his driving accuracy is nowhere. Now with Rasmus, he's got good driving distance, good driving accuracy, very good approach.
Okay,
and
so T to green, he's solid.
Yeah.
Okay, and what rank will he be coming? What is he on Golf Champs?
74.
Okay, well that's a great one. Then you got to make up 25, which is very feasible. Right, I'm going to throw a gentleman by the name of Andrew Novak to you, JDV. He's had really just picking somebody in form here. He was 17th last weekend. It's just really running a bit of a hot hand. He won at the Zurich, which was like the pairs event, so it's kind of like half a win. And then he was actually second to Justin Thomas. He lost in a playoff to Justin Thomas. He is... Can you tell me what Andrew Novak is?
69.
Okay, 69. There we go. I don't love the course fit because from what I think he's a little bit wayward, and I think he makes up quite a lot of shots around the green. But you know what? Sometimes when a guy's on a bit of a streak, you need to ride it. So yeah, he's my first one. I'll snake back if you like, and I'm going to throw Keith Mitchell at you. I know Hoff's a big Keith Mitchell guy, loves the visor. So Keith Mitchell's had 4 top 20s in a row. and he has had two. So again, I'm looking at form here very much. He's above average in distance off the tee, and he's actually had 2 top 10s at Quail Hollow, I think in the last 5 or 6 years.
So did you go have a look at how all of these guys have done at Quail Hollow historically?
Didn't you do that?
Hoff, I think you were tasked with that one.
I did for Keith, because I was clutching at straws. I was looking for something. Where's he sitting? On Keith Mitchell?
Sitting at 44.
Okay, so it ticks the criteria of above 30, but you might, he's not an out-and-out pony.
So I'm just looking at.
He's more of a what did we used to call him? He was more of a like a farm dog, like a working
But I mean, if
dog.
you're looking at the players around Keith Mitchell, and this is why it's an interesting pick. I mean, you've got Dean Burmester, who's at 41. Bearing in mind Keith Mitchell's at 44. Brooks, who I think Brooks is waning in form, but you can never really write him off for the majors. Jordan Spieth at 45. Adam Scott 46. Justin Rose at 48. I mean, are you really discounting picking those guys over? So
disclaimer, this Golf Champs site wasn't live when I picked him last night, and honestly, just looking at it this now, who I would pick before all of those guys is Daniel Berger at 49.
That was going to be my pick.
Yeah.
I was going to pick Daniel Berger, playing well. 49 is a flippin' bargain.
I think he's in the top 10 strokes gained tee to green this season. So he's trending upwards. You won't get, like, at the US Open, he'll be in the top 10.
He also feels like a PGA Championship champion. You know what I mean? Like
a Quail Hollow.
Yeah, not like who you really want to win, but you could picture him doing well, old DB straight vibing. So he was going to be my pick, and if you guys are going to circle and choose 2 before me, then I'm going to take a second one as well.
Yes.
And I think there's some really...
Ricky Fowler's at 87. He actually had a good weekend last weekend.
I mean, if you've got South African flavour, you got Seabez at 65, Torbjorn Ollison 71. I mean, you're picking those names. You're taking whoever the hell you want.
Blandy, 62.
No, that's awful.
Is Blandy playing?
Yeah.
No ways.
I mean, even I think Ryan Fox is somewhere down here. Where is he?
Ryan Fox is a good call.
They're 99.
Ryan Fox.
I mean, you take Ryan Fox, you can take whoever else you
Ryan
like.
Fox just.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But I think my second pick, if I'm picking from around here, Matt Fitzpatrick is down there, 81.
It shows how much he's.
Yeah.
81.
I noticed he had a reasonable week on the tour this weekend. I think he finished in the top 20. What about Nicholas Norgard at 92, JDB?
Yeah, I saw that. That also.
That's our guy. Good course fit, I would imagine. I'm not sure what his latest trends are going to be.
I'm just trying to find 23 ranking points here, because I've got Scotty, Rory, Rasmus, Nygaard, Peterson, and then I just need one more.
Well, who's number 23?
Yeah, let's have a squiz here. 23 is Akshay Bhatia. No, not picking him.
So if you touched on it there, my last pick, and I'm cheating here a little bit. I've called it the Danish boys pick, but this is kind of like a choose your own adventure. So choose one of these Danish boys. Do you want to go with Torbers? Okay, as you said, he's 71 on there. Torbers is in like form, I would say, for him. When you look at, I think he finished in the top 10 of the second PGA Tour event. When you look at his data golf skill set, his pentagon, it's like JDV, it's like the perfect pentagon. It's almost, you almost think that they've cocked up the settings, like they haven't actually put the numbers in. He's above average, but only just above average in everything. So that's the one option. That's the safe option. That's if you you're about to retire and you don't want your money too exposed to like the crazy equity markets. If you're young and you really feel like you can ride out the equity waves, another Danish boy with a much higher roof is Rasmus Højgaard.
I'm not trying to be funny. He was also on my...
Both in form.
Probably not a bad
pick. But be prepared for a bit of volatility, Look at his data golf thing. It's a bit like Dean Burmester's. It almost looks like someone's blown the roof off of his house. His strokes gained off the tee, driving distance is mad, and then his accuracy is like negative. So choose one of those. I would probably, if you're looking just to nerdle through and make the cuts, I'd probably go for Torbers. But if you're looking at maybe wanting to win, I mean, Rasmus could easily finish in the top 10.
Okay.
Well,
so
is his brother playing? I never know who's who really. I mean, it's awful to say, but I mean they've both had times when like one is particularly in form and the other one isn't, and it's difficult to keep track which one is which.
So Nikolai is playing. It seems like because Nikolai sort of started trending in the last 18
Which is the one that
months.
played in the Ryder Cup?
Nikolai.
yes, Nicola.
Rasmus has more wins.
I think Rasmus is. I think they're trending in different directions now. I think Rasmus has had a much more solid year. Nikolai has battled a little bit on the PGA Tour, from what I understand. So, well, you can see that in their ranks. Nikolai is rank 112. So, listen, roll the dice and go with Nikolai. You've got a free play
Pick
there.
whoever you want. Okay, so I'm going to throw it to you guys. So if I'm rounding out my team here and you were to have to pick one of these guys, Sam Burns, Victor Hovland, I'm going to say Cam Smith or Mav McNeely, Wyndham Clark. That's who I've got in my head.
I think you should go with none of them, and I think you should go with JJ Spawn.
Look,
I saw how your mouse sort of hovered over him, and then you moved on.
well, I mean, I was also Minwoo Lee was there, and I'm like, no, that is way too erratic.
I would legit answer. I would pick Hovland.
That's what I was thinking because he's a bit.
Last 3 finishes: win 21 at the Masters, 18 at the Heritage. He's definitely found a bit of
Did he play at
consistency.
the Trust this last weekend?
Don't know. He must have. Good question. I'm not sure.
She looked like a very cool event, by the way. Like the cricket bat. What was it? The
Philadelphia Cricket Club.
yeah, and then the trophy is an actual cricket bat.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was luck. I think I messaged you guys last night. They had a hole last night which was 95 yards. It's a bit like almost JDV's hole-in-one hole.
Does it count?
Well, we don't know. No one got it in. Yeah, like downhill. It's a bit like it looked. JDV. It looked just like that 12th hole at Gowrie. It was just like pushed up green and just like bunkers all around, and it's like little dinky sandwich. I mean, the guys were hitting half a sandwich in there, so it was quite a fun hole. Okay, so yeah, I mean, I think we've given some pretty solid names here.
What's your entry? Have you got golf champs? Do you want to make your picks? So this is my picks now. I've got Scotty Scheffler, Rory McIlroy, Victor Hovland, and Rasmus Nørgaard Peterson. I've got a feeling Rasmus might be a bit of a banana peel there, but you never know.
I think especially JDV for what's around Rasmus Nørgaard Peterson. I think he may be particularly unnecessary. And I mean, I don't have a problem. I think he's like a really good golfer. I just like, it feels like you've got a lot to pick in that region.
There's a lot of value. There's a lot of high number value players.
There's a lot less banana peelies around there.
Look, I'm going to look like Nostradamus when this finishes top 10.
Yeah.
I think
we're going to say our top.
You could argue that this is, because they say this is the strongest field in golf. That's always the tagline for the PGA Champs. So you could argue that this is the easiest, like golf champs. If you compare it to the Masters, where there's legit only like 50 guys who, might have a chance. This field is super deep. I mean, the problem is it's going to be hard to make the cut because it's so deep. Okay, guys, so before I answer about golf champs, JDV, who do you think is going to win?
I agree with what you said. It's going to come from the top 10. Scotty Scheffler. I mean, he blew the field away a couple of weeks ago. Oak's just super consistent. Played that course year in, year out. Yeah, it's a boring pick, but Scotty.
Hoff?
Heart says Ladders. Head says...
I think Ladders is going to win the US Open.
It says Justin Thomas.
Yeah. Well, listen, I mean, obviously I would love that with having JT and my amazing team of awesome individuals.
Look, I don't think Bryson's out of the question either.
So,
Danoka's on big fire.
Yeah, so
Rory? I mean, honestly, do you think Rory's got a... I mean, if you were to say... Would you say Rory's not going to win?
He's definitely got a chance.
I think it's between JT, Bryson, Scotty and Rory.
Yeah.
I literally don't think anyone else out of those four is going to win. I mean... I would say probably Bryson fourth. I don't know. I don't think Rory's gonna win. I agree with you. There's still a bit of a hangover there.
100% agree with you. I think because he's going to come in as such a massive favorite, it's 2 majors and 2 outings. I agree with you. I don't think Rory's going to win.
I think the opposite. I think he's got a massive chance of winning.
I think it's going to be a showdown.
I think he's going to be so free. there's no pressure on him. All the pressure's gone. He's going to be.
The pressure is like everyone's saying that like you should do really well
This is
here,
your
Rory.
course.
I think he's
Perfect
going to feel
playground.
that as pressure. It's
I
like,
guess
it's behind
not.
him.
Yeah, he's
It doesn't matter now. For the rest of the year, whatever happens, happens. So I think he's a serious contender, serious danger. Who knows? Maybe it'll be a tip of the cap to the old PGA Championships, and maybe we'll get like a JT Poston or something that wins it.
Or a Rasmus Niergaard Peterson.
Nicholas Norgard.
Peterson.
This is Jason. Back in the day, I picked Jason Duffner to win it. So I put a bet on him.
Wow.
And he couldn't putt that week. I don't know if you remember that. So he was putting everything to like 1 foot, and then I was still shitting myself that he wasn't going to make the putt.
This
Anyway, he did.
this podcast has been going. We've done so many episodes of this podcast now that I think you have already told that story.
I think I have as well. Did I tell the story?
It might
that
have been 2 years ago.
Did I tell the story after that pick that I had to do the Duffner? I did the Duffner. You remember that Duffnering thing that we used?
I just
Kids'
remember
school.
you telling us you were sweating bullets, and then somebody said something about a plaque. There's a Jason Duffner plaque or something. Hoff?
No, don't look at me.
Okay. Anyway.
I think he's the unhappiest winner of any major in the history of golf, Jason Duffner.
He's super dry though. If you like follow on Twitter, he was actually had like a very dry sense of humor.
Oh, but then it turned out that he was just boring. Like I remember even the European Tour commentators a few times. I think it was actually at the Nedbank Golf Challenge where they were like, "Listen, this like actually just needs to like have a few beers or something like that."
Okay, guys, lastly, we've obviously got our Major Goats competition going on. So just briefly, standings, obviously just to remind everyone, JDV, you got out to a nice little lead, 31 points, mainly with everyone riding on Rory's back there. You had a very tidy weekend, kept it, I would almost call it like a bogey-free round that you had.
I was very happy.
19
Very happy
points.
at the start.
Tucky, 5 points, I mean, a little way behind, but there's so much golf to play. And then obviously, I just didn't get off the blocks, I'm not in the negative, but like we washed our face, we broke even. Oh, by the way, does anyone want Russell Henley? Does anyone want to trade for Russell Henley?
He's yours.
Jeepers. Is that the only work you want
We
to
are
trade?
allowed trading.
But who
Are
picked
you
Will-
worried about Will Zalatoris?
Is he in my team?
Yes.
I was about to say who picked Will Zalatoris because he's had a serious form dip as well.
Well, he also withdrew from an event with a back injury 2 weeks ago. Are you concerned about that? What does your research tell you?
I am concerned about that, Terence. My research tells me that withdrawing with a back injury 2 weeks before a major is not
Because
good.
I didn't see you put in a medical application, so you're obviously pretty sure that he's going to start.
Well, he is starting.
Is he? Okay.
Well, I mean,
Is he going to finish?
Is he? Isn't he? We'll find out. If my dad's put a bet on him, then he's probably not starting.
But you do have Neiman. I mean, he's in good form. He should be.
Oh, is Tyrrell Hatton playing, by the way? Because that
Yeah,
was.
he
Okay.
is.
I did have a good laugh the other day.
You've got
when-
no Saffas on the starting blocks this weekend, JD.
This is my Saffa weekend. I've got Burmester.
Isn't Tristan Lawrence playing?
Is he?
Is he?
I'd be surprised.
No,
I've
he
got
is. I think he is playing.
Donnie van Tonder and Dean Burmester. This is
Teeing it up.
This is it.
This is it.
I think this is my only week. Donnie will be playing at the Open as well, but
Yes.
Burmy could win this thing, Oaks. I mean,
TBag.
Imagine.
Just
didn't we say if your Saffa wins, it's double points?
negative. But just to confirm your team, I mean, this is like the Vodacom Bulls.
Thanks for tuning in, everyone.
This
to
is the
Coach
Vodacom
Shack.
Bulls of teams. Morikawa, Xander Schauffele, Justin Thomas,
Xander's.
Phil Henley, Patrick Cantlay, and then your two Saffas. That's not
Listen,
even the Vodacom Bulls. That's like the Northern Free State.
You might not want to have beers with them, but judging by form, like I'm very happy with this team right now. Cantley was absolutely flashing last night. I think he was like 7 under through 9 holes, so he's playing well. Russell Henley is a tough scene at the moment. I think I was caught up in a lot of recency bias there with that pick, but yeah,
You're laughing at me.
Yeah, Tristan Lawrence is there.
Well, yeah, there we go.
certainly he's going to have a great week.
So you got to have a line in the water to catch a fish.
Okay, guys, this is Lekker, and look forward to doing a little recap and tracking. I'll try and put something on Instagram with all of our teams and that, so guys can see exactly who's who. But yeah, look forward to it. And Taki, we missed you. We missed your deep insights. I know you did a lot of homework. I wonder how worried he is about Lucas Glover, because that was one of the most surprising picks. Anyway, let the pod end.
Like a tea, like a half.
Thanks, guys.